I am sorry. I totally forgot to start the recording. I thought I pushed it and I didn't. So I just happened to see that there. All right. So I'll have to figure out what to do. Okay, so we're starting kind of, I just want to, if I record this first part over again, I just wanted to say where we're starting is talking about toxins with menopause. Shoot. All right. So in dealing with exercise, a lot of times we'll over exercise. And so we will actually cause us to have more cortisol. And so when you're young, it's like you're trying to run and all that kind of stuff. But as you get older, you really do want to not exercise as much. And so they talk about doing things like HIIT exercises where you walk for 2 minutes and then you do 1 minute of run and then walk for 2 minutes and then 1 minute run. And you repeat that 7 times. And that comes from a gentleman called the Fit Father. It's actually what my husband got involved in. They have one for Fit Mother too. But I didn't like his program as much or didn't resonate as much. But that's one of the things that he mentioned. And that way, yes, you're spiking it to help your heart and all your blood vessels work, but you're not, let's see, you're not causing that cortisol to go up too high. But walking, the metabolic renewal, he talks about, we always say, oh, you need to walk 10,000 steps a day. And he says, no, as you get older, you need to do 20,000. So it's walking more. So walking in the morning, walking in the afternoon and things like that is really helpful. And what you're doing is you're just, almost like in some ways calming yourself down is his kind of intent with that. So I do iFit. And so obviously, that you want to find something that you really enjoy. And so I really enjoy iFit with treadmills so I can walk with, trainers all over the world. Sometimes I don't always, go to the speed they want or they're doing, but I'm doing it on my terms and I really enjoy that. Another one that I invested in to kind of find out how it was is called V-Shred, and you'll see that everywhere. And he's always talking about, that, this is a, metabolism killer, and this is a metabolism killer. So I tried his program and I actually liked it. It was $165 and they give you like 3 months of exercise. And then they have like a person that gives you an idea of what to eat, and then does a little bit of coaching. And so that was very helpful. And I like that, but I go at my own speed. And so, but I like having the 3 different months of exercise. And of course, he's repeating, he probably has like maybe 6 different ones, and then he's just breaking it up throughout 3 months. But it was still, it's about 15 minutes of really good work and then a cool down. And the metabolic renewal is kind of the same thing. I think there's a 17 minutes. But that's really all you need, per day. And what I've personally done is kind of done a hybrid where I like to do the walk run thing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then also, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I do Pilates on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and Saturdays. So I do it 4 times a week. And then lifting weights 6 days a week. And I find that obviously lifting weights really helps build the muscle so that you're not putting on weight as much. And so it's really, if you were to say one thing that you need to do the most is really the lifting weights. It doesn't have to be heavy, but it really does help build the muscle and it helps keep you toned. The other thing is that in doing Pilates, I've really been impressed at how much it really does help tone your body. And they're also doing yoga, and I'm not a component of yoga because it's like too slow. It doesn't have a fast pace. But I heard someone say something once is that yoga is for detoxing your body and helping twist out and get your muscles to release tension. And once I got that in my mindset, it was a little bit easier. There's a lady that's called on YouTube, and it's called Yoga with Adrian. And she's out of Texas. And I've never I mean, she's just so lovingly like, try to do this. It's great. You know, you're doing it. And she's like so motivating. It's like, I can do this. So I can do yoga for about, you know, maybe 15, 20 minutes and then I get too bored. But she's really helpful. And of course, she has a dog that always shows up, you know, to help, you know, be there with her. So I always like the dog showing up. But those are some things that you can do to really help stretch out the muscles, get them to relax, get them to stretch. And the more I'm realizing how important it is to do stretching, the older you get. And I'm kind of talking about relaxation, but there's another exercise I just literally got. I mean, I stumbled across it. And the reason I got into it was that I found a lady here that does lymphatic, sorry, it's lymph, myofascial release, that's what it is. And so what happens is that there's a lot of tension and also trauma that you keep in your fascia. Well, what's fascia? If you think about when you're cutting up chicken and sometimes you have those strings that, you know, that are kind of, you have to kind of cut them off, that's fascia. And it links every place in your body, all your muscles together, and it can hold on to trauma. And so what she does is she has you kind of like move in all these different ways to get rid of that trauma. Well, I came across something called somatic exercise, and it's the best way I could explain it. It's like watching Elaine dance it's not Frasier. It's Jerry Seinfeld, Elaine, and she can't dance, but the whole idea is when we sit at our desk, we are in one plane. We're maybe reaching here or here, but we're literally in this plane here. And the whole idea is that we need to move our body in so many different planes to keep it going. You know, we're not picking fruit. We're not, you know, picking stuff up on the floor. And so this semantic exercise helps you always move your body in different planes. And I have found that to be more relaxing than literally meditation, because it's like you're moving and you're keeping going, but yet you're checking in with yourself and calming yourself down at the same time. So there's an app called Better Me that had the semantic exercises on it. And the only issue I have is that it's a app that covers everything. So it has, I mean, tons of exercises, and so you could like pick any one you want. They have like a wall Pilates and different Pilates and stuff like that. They have food programs. They have steps. They have how much water you're drinking. So they have everything they're covering. And because they're giving you so much, it's $30 a month. Well, I didn't want to pay the $30 a month, but I really liked the exercises. So I watched them all, did them, kind of learned what she was doing, and then I can kind of do it on my own. But it really, I was profoundly moved that it was very helpful. So I wanted to share that. All right, so in self-care, we've talked about exercise and the different ones that are helpful. We've talked about toxins that can bother. And we talked a little bit about foods. I didn't kind of go into other toxins like inhalants, like smells and mold. And that's kind of where my issue showed up, is that I kept having to go into a moldy building. And sometimes if you smell it, it's not such a big deal because it's like in your sinuses, or I mean, it's a big deal. I don't like it. But this particular building, it was coming from the air vent. And so somehow the way it entered my body, it bothered my hypothalamus. And so what happened is that I stopped sleeping well. It disrupted my hormones. It made me have brain fog. I got more headaches. So I'll turn that down. Got more headaches. And it really bothered me. So once I found out, it was one of those things that I only went to the building on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so it was like I was having a hard time chasing, well, where is this coming from? And of course, mold makes your brain go nuts anyway. And it makes you have brain fog. And so it was really hard to find, but I finally found it and said, okay, here's the culprit. And so I know what I'm looking for. And anytime that I know I've been exposed to mold, but if I go to bed at night and if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh, I want to get back to bed, and I can't finish a thought, I can't finish testing myself and something like that. That's usually when I say, okay, I've had a mold exposure. I need to do something with it. Also getting, I had a lot of brain fog, and so I could really feel it was in my brain lymphatic system. So anyway, but that's all the things that I'm aware of to test to find out what's going on. So I was able to kind of say, hey, I need to come to this building, but I do not want to be in that office. And so I tested how many minutes I can be near there and not have a problem in 1 minute. So I just kind of said, I'm not going there. I'll go anywhere else here, but not in that area. And so that has gotten rid of the issue. And then I also spent obviously the summer or winters mitigating it so that I don't have to have that much issue. But mold can really do you in, unfortunately. Other things that to be aware of is things that you put on your body. Okay, so things that you put on your face or your body, makeup, chemicals. Makeup can have endocrine disruptors, and so they always talk about, oh, we want to get rid of these fine lines, so put such and such on it. Well, what they're doing is they're adding estrogen to your face to plump it up, but then it's going to plump up, the backside or your stomach, and it's like, so we don't want that. So we always test anything that's going on your face or any creams and lotions to make sure that it doesn't have that and is disrupting, your weight loss, your chemicals, your estrogen, progesterone, all that. All right. So then I also wanted to talk about mindset and the fact that, one of the things that the metabolic renewal always talks about is, well, we should take a nap. And I don't know about you, but I don't have time to take a nap in my time day. I would like to, but I'm not retired, I work, and I tend to be driven. And so what I did say, okay, what's the closest thing to napping? Well, to me, it's reading. So I try every day to get in, to sit down and have a time where I can read and relax. And they do say it's good to do it around 2 p.m, or so I try to do it after I eat. So therefore I've eaten something, you're a little bit more, relaxed and tired anyway after you eat. And so I try to get my reading in then. But that you say that napping is good. You don't do it for long. But doing something that nurtures you, like I said, you're painting, drawing, all those kind of help your mindset so that you're not bumping your cortisol up all the time and being in racing mode. You're bringing it down, and that's the key. Okay, and talking about supplements would be next. And a lot of times they say, well, we'll get a blood test. And so the issues with blood tests is that they're only taking a snapshot of what's happening in the full movie of your life. And so, let's say you had something specific to eat that day, they're only giving a snapshot of the blood in your body. And so a lot of times what they recommend is doing saliva tests. And so measuring, that way they can measure progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. And there's 2 different kinds. One is a 24-hour test where you test every hour. And I don't know if they do it during the night or if it's like 18 hours, so you get as much as they can. But getting a saliva, you spit in a jar, and then you have all these different jars that you mail in. Another one is to take your saliva every day for 28 days. And that way you're getting a full cycle of what you're going through. And that way they can tell where all your hormones are. So I'm in the process of, I'm going to be talking to someone that does that kind of testing or counseling. And I'm going to find out kind of what she has to say and what she suggests. So it'll be interesting to see what she says. What I found for dealing with hot flashes is obviously to find out what is the toxin that's creating it. Okay, what's the terrain? We always talk about the terrain change, and so finding out is it something you ingested, something you inhaled, something you come in contact with. So getting rid of the toxin is the first key. The second one is, okay, what supplements can support you? And so some of the supplements I found to be helpful is, ASEA. A lot of times you can take so many ounces per day to try to help the hot flashes. And so a lot of times they recommend when you're going through that, you need 5 to 7. And a lot of times I do test for having 5 ounces a day, and then typically do 4, but when you have a health issue like that, or a lot of trauma and stress in your life, you need to have more than that. So that's been helpful with hot flashes. Another one is the LifeWave patches and having X39, and there's several different patches that they have. They have the stem cells of X39 for healing. They have X49 for strength. They have Eon, which helps with inflammation. They have glutathione for detox, and I've got my glutathione right here. They used to have a Nirvana that I would put right on my thyroid, which is what helped my thyroid a lot. But they got rid of the Nirvana. But I found if I do the glutathione on the thyroid, it does help. So that's been helpful. They also have a sleep night patch, so that, if you're not sleeping well, you can do that. They also have an energy patch. So if you're, really tired, you can do that. And a lot of times what they do is they put them on the inside of your ankles, and it helps you not have to get up and go to the bathroom as much at night. I always like the exercise where you're, clearing lymphatic system, and I have a great exercise. If you're not doing that, that's great for helping you get back to sleep. So you can let me know if you're needing that. They also have aloe vera in the patches, and that helps your skin. I have my son wearing that right now because he's starting to have acne. Of course, I found out he was also drinking Coke more, and so I said, okay, knock off the Coke and you'll get rid of your pimples. So I think I kind of convinced him finally, but I have wearing that to help get rid of that. And then there's an SP6 that helps your thyroid. And it also, what I found, if I wear it on my left adrenal gland on my back, I don't crave sugar as much. Weird, I'm not sure why, but that's what it does. So it helps both sugar cravings and thyroid. So those are all things that the patches can help with, that I have found to be really helpful. So it's just, I think it's important just to have, the support of each other as we go through this. And I think it would be fun to kind of review Christine Northrup's book together if you guys are interested in doing that, because she does have a lot to say, and her first couple chapters really deal with the emotional part of menopause and what you're going through, and she talks about, she always talked about it with her clients, but she hadn't gone through it. Well, once she went through it, she's like, wow, I get what you're saying now. And so she's kind of writing it from that perspective of understanding what it's like and the changes that she had to go through in her own life going through that. So there was I wanted to read on here. It said something I thought was pretty profound. It says, we cannot resolve the underlying relationship problems that might be utilizing these symptoms to get your attention. And so we realize that when we have any symptom in our life, there's always, what's the lesson can I learn from this? What is the body trying to communicate me? What do I need to listen to? And so just covering it up and taking something a lot of times doesn't really solve the issue. So being aware of what is the lesson for me to learn in this, or what is my body trying to tell me, is important. I had someone that recommended all the stuff that I talked about. I had someone that I thought was a really good visual, and it was saying, okay, if you think about a pyramid and everything that we've talked about, the first baseline of that pyramid in dealing with menopause is to find the toxins, okay? And to get rid of those, because that's keeping everything going if you have those toxins in your life. So get rid of those toxins. The next one that you can do is to exercise and to do the weightlifting, to do the walking, and to do the yoga and helping those relaxing things. So that's going to help support your whole body. The next one you can do is, supplementation, which is going to, now you have a good support. It's like, what things are going to, continue to propel you to do better and to get the body kind of back into a balance. And so there's some of the supplements that we talked about. And then on top of that is the things that you do for the mindset, for the relaxation, things that, are the drawing and the things that are nurturing to you. But that's a good way to think about that pyramid that is really helpful for you as you go through this, and to make sure that, you know, you're working on each one of those levels. So it's important to have an open dialogue, to dispel the myths, to help empower women to navigate this phase of the life, and to feel confident, and to deal with it with grace. Like I said, just breathe through it. That's what I say. You're having a hot flash. Embrace the change and find out, what can I learn from this? Who am I now? And I think all those are very, very helpful. And so, like I said, I have a couple of these videos that I found to be very helpful that I can send you. And so if you'd like to have, you know, I can send you the video. You can send an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com. A video on hormones, or some of the things that I mentioned. Yeah, because I have a women's hormones, and then I have hormone disrupting chemicals. And so I have a video on how different chemicals that you might not think about are disrupting the hormones in the body. And then just make sure that you're on my monthly newsletter, which Viv, I know we set it up for that, and Jody, I think you get it already, so that's good. But yeah, making sure that you're on the monthly newsletter, because I do share little articles about what I'm going to be talking about in Zoom, and so that's really helpful. And then I think both of you are in the Facebook group, and so that's I just changed the name, and so that's Holistic Health for Christians, Tapping Toxins and Trauma. And so it's really fun to, you know, kind of really start honing in on what I do and how I'm helping people. And I have obviously the YouTube channel, which you can, you know, which I share all of these different videos on that really help with different subjects. So it's time to discover that root cause of your health issue, so you can finally get some clarity on what in the world's going on, so you can have some energy to be able to do it because you've cleared out all those toxins, and to live in peace, knowing you're headed in the right direction, getting back that healthy want that you so richly deserve. It's just so helpful. The best way that I know how to do that is to do a session, you know, 60 minutes, which just really helps kind of, and both of you guys are clients, and so you've done that before. So really, and to look at these things, it's just a matter of testing, kind of see, okay, where is my body at with this and these symptoms, and figure out if there's something we need to clear, or some toxin you have in your life, maybe what supplements are very helpful, to find out what, you know, how you get rid of the symptoms that you're having. So that's a good place to start. So yeah, so and then those that are listening to the replay, if you do a 60-minute, if you're new client to quantum healing, quantum techniques, then it's a 60 minutes for $300. We give you a $100 discount on that first session. And then if you want to know more about the modality that I do, we can kind of do kind of like a 15-minute talk about like what your issue is, and what we could, and how quantum techniques can help you, and that quantum healing that I do. So I look forward to seeing you next month. And I always am looking for subjects of what you would like me to talk about. And so let me know if there's something you want me to talk about. We didn't have a time. Someone asked if I could talk about fibroids, and I just didn't have enough opportunity to be able to research that in time. So that may be something that we cover next month, or in my next newsletter, find some information on that. So I think that would be an interesting thing to cover. So yeah, so I appreciate you. And I didn't really ask if you guys have any questions, so I probably should ask. So if you guys have anything I covered, do you have questions on, feel free to ask. Nope. All right. Well, hopefully, Viv, you've got something that you're doing that nurtures your heart. And I know, Jody, you're doing that great, what do you call it? Painting and drawing. And so I need to get back to my coloring too. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I can I can unmute you if you need to.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Jody. That was awesome.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad I be able to cover some stuff that you really needed. And so yeah, it's great to have you here today.
Awesome.
All right. Well, guys, have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.